Good morning. It is 7:24 a.m. on Friday, April 24th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis, and this is my second attempt at recording this morning. My first attempt was interrupted by an ornery puppy dog who was just barking all over the place and being very distracting, and it kind of just got complicated to the point where I just decided to start over. He's actually off in the bedroom doing who knows what now. Hopefully it'll keep for a few minutes. He is a wonderful little puppy dog, but sometimes he is a lot. Yeah. And that's fine, but can be distracting when I try to do other things is basically just all I'm getting at. So, yesterday I was feeling sort of a Disney-flavored nostalgia, and so I was looking through Disney Plus for some of the older animated things that I remember from like being a kid, and I ended up watching the Three Caballeros. And for one, I remembered watching it as a kid, but watching it as an adult now, what I realized is, kind of interesting about it is an American company, Disney, making sort of a variety travelogue celebratory movie about Latin America in the 1940s, which, yeah, it's a 1944 movie, a little over an hour long, and it stars Donald Duck, and he meets a couple of other bird characters, a parrot and a chicken that, one is from Brazil and one's from Mexico, and he meets them and they tell him all about, South America and, it's like some of the birds that live there and then some of the culture and everything. And part of what's interesting about it, though, is of course that it's, was made in the 40s. So like when they're showing Mexico City, it's Mexico City from the 40s. And that's kind of, I just mean it's sort of an interesting glimpse. We don't always, see that time period there anymore. And, it's interesting to think about, sometimes stuff from that time period doesn't age super well. I would be curious to know if anyone who is from any of the places talked about in that movie, I don't know if they would find some of the things in it offensive or not. I mean, because my perception as someone who's not from those cultures is that while perhaps it does get into some, stereotypes in a mild way, it's also purely a celebratory movie. It's all about how beautiful and exciting and lovely it is there. So, it's certainly not, like making fun or putting down anything. But at the same time, one of the things that's kind of striking about it is how kind of horny it is. To the extent that Donald has any sort of a consistent character trait across the movie, it is that he is constantly chasing after women. And when I say women, I don't mean like Daisy Duck. I mean, this is a movie that has some of the earliest or earlier uses of blending live action with animation. And so there's a lot in this movie of Donald just running around lusting after real life, flesh and blood women. Which, I mean, sure, that's fine, but it's more than you'd think in this movie. This a significant percentage of the runtime is devoted to that. But sure, I mean, it's. I was about to say it's chaste, but it's. I mean, to the extent that they're not like showing like nudity or anything like that, Donald Duck does certainly make a lot of noises when he's like, doing the cartoon heart pounding sort of thing, and that. Anyway, it was an interesting sort of revisiting of a cartoon I remember watching as a kid. Has a lot of musical numbers in it that are pretty fun. I kind of like, I like the characters of the other two birds. I think it's Panchito Pistoles, which has certainly got some elements of stereotype there. But I mean, again, it's like it's meant to be in a cool gaucho cowboy sort of way. Not It's not intended to be any sort of like, oh yeah, all those people from Mexico are like X. It's more like, no, check out this cool guy. And then of course Jose Carioca is the parrot that is from Brazil, and so yeah, it was interesting. I would be curious though if I did a quick little bit of googling, and I didn't really find anyone talking about that aspect of it. But I would be curious to know because I mean my own sort of experience of it is that it seems like it's really celebratory. So like to the extent that it is highlighting certain things over others, it's intending to try to be a positive depiction, but it certainly has elements of stereotypes in it. Not to the level of something like Song of the South, because obviously that that's one where they don't actually make a big thing about, say, hey, on our brand new streaming service for kids, here's this cartoon you can watch. No, it's not like that, but yeah, it's still a little weird to revisit. Anyway, I'll leave it there for right now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. And then I'm going to go check out and see what Rocket's gotten up to.